Regina King for Cadillac Escalade.
Let's say you make it to the top. What's next? Relish in the glory of your accomplishments? Okay, sure, for a minute. But then you move forward. Take the 2021 Escalade. Cadillac's newest arrival is more than just a celebration of iconic luxury. It's the most technologically advanced Escalade ever. Because arriving is just the beginning.
The 2021 Cadillac Escalade. Never stop arriving.
The Cricket Badger Podcast IPL Daily, in association with Moonrise Cricket, Indian Premier League 2020 13th edition. Every day, every game, every spill, every thrill, every triumph, all the way to the IPL trophy.
Hello everybody, welcome along. It's another Cricket Badger IPL Daily Podcast, and just as I thought this competition couldn't get any more entertaining, everything flip-flops again, and all of a sudden Chennai Super Kings are winning. We've just seen Chennai Super Kings beat the Kings 11 Punjab by 10 wickets. 10 wickets, and Shane Watson got some runs. And then earlier on in the day, we saw Mumbai Indians triumphing over the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Pleased to say, I'm joined by Anand Bhika, our Mumbai Indians fan, and Naman Shah, our KKR supporter. Start with you, Naman. I spent most of yesterday's podcast by saying Chennai Super Kings, they're going to finish 8th. Shane Watson should be dropped. And then I'm watching the game today, and they're coasting to victory by 10 wickets. It's a bizarre competition, this one. There's no short of surprises.
Absolutely, James. I am also surprised. I expected them to win, but winning by 10 wickets, they are sending a strong message over here. I always felt with Chennai that losing early in the tournament is a threat to other teams. I expected this to come from Chennai at least someday or the other. They are going to come back strong, especially in Dubai, playing on the wickets which are unpredictable. Losing early in the tournament is only going to favor these teams. I also expect Punjab to come back stronger from here. But yes, kudos to Stephen Fleming to stay with the same team, to back Watson, to back Kedar Jadhav. Absolutely quite formidable and comprehensive win.
Looking at Stephen Fleming's face in the first innings, though, he didn't look particularly chuffed as Kings 11 made 178 for 4. Nice innings by KL Rahul, again at the top of the order, 63 from him. And I thought, Naman, that 178 for 4 would be a challenging total to chase down, particularly for a CSK side lacking in confidence. But we saw Shane Watson, 83 not out, Faf du Plessis, 87 not out. Make mincemeat of it. Maybe
Kings 11 Punjab took CSK a bit lightly, but you might have heard Wasim Jafar, their batting coach. They always needed those 20-30 extra runs because their bowling department is not been at all good in the recent matches. Also, as you have mentioned, yes, KL Rahul is playing good, but he needs to be more aggressive. Even in Sharjah, you might have seen he scored 69, but he also took 54 deliveries. That's a bit too much in Sharjah. Today also, yes, he scored 50, but I guess he needs to be a bit more aggressive. He needs Maxwell Puran a bit quite early on the wicket. They need to back him. They need to be in. They need more 20-30 extra runs, just a bit cushion for their bowlers. But yes, they need to maybe look to bring in Mujib at some time or the other.
And finally on this game, Kings 11, they've only won one game so far in the competition. Chennai Super Kings will be buoyed by their success today. And Shane Watson, who I described as looking like a walking wicket in the podcast yesterday, Naman, player of the match today, that's going to give him a lot of confidence moving forward, isn't it? Because no matter who you are, no matter how long you've been around, you want to be contributing to the side you're playing for. And Shane Watson will go to bed tonight feeling a lot happier in that CSK camp.
Absolutely, James. More than Watson, I guess Faf du Plessis will be a bit more relieved man. I thought major pressure was on him to bat as long as possible. He might be relieved, and you will see him playing more expressively, more aggressively in the next matches. He will be a bit more relieved seeing Watson perform. And yes, this is going to add a lot of confidence to Watson as well as the whole team. And also, I thought Jadeja's 4 overs were crucial today. He didn't go for many runs, and smartly Dhoni finished his 4 overs before 15 overs, and then he used Bravo and Shardul in the end. But yes, very much a complete performance. CSK couldn't have asked something better than this.
Anand, come to you to talk about the Mumbai Indians' victory today. They won by 34 runs against a Sunrisers Hyderabad side. And be honest with me, after 20 overs, Mumbai Indians 208 for 5 at Sharjah, the ground where it rains sixes and any chasing's possible. Did you think your team had got enough there?
So that's a great question, right? So at 208 runs, we had to think twice about that. Is that really a par total or not? You've seen 228 in the previous game, and that was almost chased down. So question was it enough? The one thing that I think we have confidence in is that Mumbai Indians bowling attack is very strong. So as long as you attack Sunrisers Hyderabad and get a couple of those openers, they're very top heavy. Mumbai Indians is right back into the game. And that's essentially what happened. I think Bolt changed the match around. He got Bairstow, and I rate Bairstow very highly just because between even Warner and Bairstow, I think Bairstow, once he gets going, is very destructive. And those small boundaries, Bairstow can hit it big. Bolt got Bairstow with that slower one. Then he followed it up by taking the next crucial wicket, which was Kane Williamson. So again, short ball outside the off, slow. Kane tried to ramp it, got caught. If you think that Kane and Warner hang around for even 3-4 more overs, I think this match becomes much more competitive. So I think Bolt really had the best spell today of the night.
We've seen some really good chases in Sharjah. When Kane Williamson was out, it was 116 for 3, 12.2 overs gone at that stage. And at that stage, or just before Williamson was out, I was thinking Sunrisers have got this in the bag here. They threw it away to me. I know it was good bowling and good fielding and good captaincy from Rohit, but I think Sunrisers will look back on today, Anand, and have a few regrets about that chase.
I think they would, but also if you look at the composition of the team, that lower order of Sunrisers, they don't really have a few gun players there. They certainly have a lot of exciting young talent, but if we had to look at the lower order, I would think one more wicket and it's advantage Mumbai Indians. So the question really was, could Kane hang around a little more or Warner? And I know Warner did hang around for a bit more, but you really needed a little more firepower. With Bumrah, Bolt, Pattinson around, you really need a lot of firepower to counter that. So once Kane went, I actually thought MI started sneaking right back in.
Moonrise is a sports engagement website to allow sports fans to learn from the very best. Get a personal video message recorded for a fan's special occasion. Have a professional cricketer as your next coach by getting video feedback or having a 30-minute conversation with some of the world's best players. Players such as Jimmy Neesham, Colin Munro, Tammy Beaumont, Danny Wyatt, Monty Panesar. Visit moonrisesports.com or go to Moonrise Sports on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Moonrise Cricket, let's play. And Naman, we're going to look for our Moonrise Cricket moment of the matches today. 2 matches to consider. I just want one moment from each of you from today's game. Start with you, Naman. Where would you point me for the Moonrise moment of the matches?
For me, there are quite a couple of them. Quinton de Kock's form is back, even Watson form is back. But one particular moment which changed the course of the match was Ishan Kishan catch of Warner. That was a really tough one, and to grab it at that point of time, they just took the win away from Hyderabad. I thought that Warner will take this game away from Mumbai if he was standing there till the end. But I guess from then onwards, it was all Hyderabad. It was all Mumbai from then, sorry.
Anand, what about you? What would be your Moonrise moment of the matches today?
For me, it was more than a moment. It was sort of a phase. But I would actually point out towards KL Rahul's inning. KL Rahul is arguably one of the most complete and most destructive batsmen on the white ball scene. When we look at how he performed, when one wicket went down, when Agarwal went down, I think he was going at less than a run and a ball. When the next wicket went down of Mandeep, he was still going at a run and a ball. So the problem was that at the end of the 14th over, KL Rahul was still 46 runs or 44 balls. For a guy who's so destructive, that inning did not make sense in context of who they're playing, where they're playing. If that total actually, they got a decent total, 178, but let's say they were able to get that 200, I think Watson had to go early, Faf had to go early. Both of them got a chance to kind of play themselves in. And once Watson gets going, he's like a diesel train. But for me, it's that KL Rahul's inning, especially after the 8th over, because he didn't seem to have any aggressive intent.
I'm going to overrule both of you. And I'm going to do it for a self-interest because I've been slagging off Shane Watson, saying that he shouldn't be playing for Chennai Super Kings, that Chennai Super Kings were done and dusted in this tournament, would finish 8th. And fair play to Shane Watson, 83 not out today. of 53 balls, 11 fours and 3 sixes. I'll take the moment where he got to 50, but it could have been any of the moments in that innings. He showed a lot of character today. On that basis, Shane Watson, 83 not out in Chennai's win by 10 wickets a day, is the Moonrise moment of the matches. Want to get your game the very best it can be? The future of coaching. Talk to a pro. 30-minute video conversation. Video analysis from players at the top of their game. Video shout-outs. Get a personalised message from a pro. Great for birthdays, congratulations messages, a prank or a simple hello. Visit moonrisesports.com or go to Moonrise Sports on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Moonrise Cricket. Let's play. Looking at the table, chaps, as we finish this weekend, the first weekend of double headers, we have Anand's team, Mumbai Indians, are top of the table, but level on points with two teams that have played one less game, and they face off tomorrow. So Mumbai are on 6 after playing 5, then Delhi Capitals and RCB on 6 points each. Then there's a gaggle of teams on 4 points. KKR, Rajasthan Royals have played 4 games, CSK and Sunrisers have played 5, and then poor old Kings 11 are the only team on 2 points. But that table, Anand, it just sums up the competition so far, doesn't it? Nobody's taking it by the scruff of the neck. All teams are losing. All teams are winning. It is still wide open.
Absolutely. I think there are about 6 teams that seem to be able to compete with each other. I still think that CSK and Rajasthan Royals are going to be towards the back of the pack, but they are a good 6 teams that seem to be on par with each other with their abilities, and it feels like this is going to extend a little more. There's going to be a few more back and forths that we have. This has been an exciting IPL, and it should continue as we go forward. But to me, if we look at Mumbai Indians, Delhi Capitals, Royal Challengers, Bangalore, I think those are the top 3. So it's going to be a very interesting tussle as we go forward.
And on that basis, Naman, it makes this game tomorrow in Dubai, Royal Challengers Bangalore against Delhi Capitals, a really important game, doesn't it? Whoever wins this goes top of the table on net run rate. 2 very exciting teams, the best 2 teams, I think, so far in the competition. How do you see this one? Who do you think is going to be the better of the 2 sides tomorrow?
It's going to be a great start to the week. It's going to be a cracker of a match. But I'll give an advantage to RCB over here, and also I feel they need to get their tickets booked as early as possible and not leave it till the business end. They might get into something bizarre which they might have not even dreamt. But they are in good position over here. They need to close this as soon as possible. They need to win maximum because the momentum is with them. Kohli has regained the form. Padikkal is playing absolutely. He is playing just complete different innings. A 20-year-old playing like this, you cannot expect a much mature innings from at this age from anyone, especially at IPL level. Yes, Delhi batting is a bit good, but I'll still feel, except from Rabada and yes, Nauki also found some form in the last match. They need their bowlers to get together, and yes, it's going to be even Stevens, but I'll give an advantage to RCB.
RCB lead the head-to-heads, Anand, between these 2 sides by 15 games to 8. But Delhi Capitals have won the last 2, and that's because Delhi Capitals are a different side, aren't they, over the last couple of seasons? They've got Shreyas Iyer in charge. They've got a very balanced side. I think Delhi Capitals can give RCB a really good run for their money tomorrow.
I concur. I think it's very hard to find a weak link when you look at DC's team. Right now you have really explosive batting, great bowling, and they just seem to be a very well-rounded outfit. So this is really going to be an exciting game. But I mean, when you think about them, everybody's got some form. Shaw hit a nice 50 the other day. Was actually clobbering balls over extra cover. It was just great to watch him go there. If you look at Dhawan, he got a few runs here and there. Pant has certainly gotten some runs, and then Iyer looks so smooth. He was almost like a younger Rohit Sharma, like when he was starting to tee off at some of those balls. He seems to hit those balls a long way without actually, wild slogging. So I think they really have everything controlled in there. And let's throw in a thought for Stoin the Moine, right? I mean, so Stoinis, in the very first match, I think he scored, 53 odd off 20 odd balls, and he was able to bat well. And then in the last match, he bowled a couple of Yorkers and closed the match out. So, I mean, I think they still have depth in that lineup. I really think that, this is going to be an exciting game, but it should be advantage DC.
And Naman, Anand did a really good job there with Delhi Capitals. Two players that he didn't mention, though. Kahisa Rabada, 8 wickets so far in the tournament. Anrik Nortje, 5 wickets. The two South African pacemen, both at the start of the innings and at the end of the innings, are a real threat, aren't they?
Yes. That's pretty much RCB's eyes are going to be on those two bowlers, and the remaining 3 to 4 bowlers are going to have a hit. And I guess Kohli and Padikkal and AB de Villiers are good enough to tackle their pace, to tackle their bowling right now. But yes, it's going to be Rabada and ABD versus Rabada versus ABD and Kohli. This is going to be even Stevens. I'm just imagining right now exactly what are the pace bowlers and whom they are going to face. Just one thing RCB needs to worry is their death bowling. They just cannot let go any message tomorrow, because Delhi are good enough to capture on those moments. Their death bowling still needs to improve. Chahal and Washington Sundar also needs to. Washington Sundar didn't bowl much in the last match, but I guess he'll be used more tomorrow. But yes, Navdeep Saini and all are good bowlers. But yes, 16 to 20th over, I guess, will be the decider tomorrow.
Anand, the return to form of Virat Kohli, 72 from 53 balls in their win against Rajasthan Royals. Talking a few moments ago about Shane Watson and how important it is for a player to feel part of a team and to be feeling as if they're contributing. Even more important for somebody like Virat Kohli, isn't it, to have runs under his belt and to feel part of this tournament with the bat?
It's going to be very key for him to get going again. Virat Kohli usually takes a few balls to get going, and he did that in the last match, and he was able to put up a big score. And once he gets going, the strokes are flying all over. So it's a good place to be in if you're Kohli. He's also looked a little more happier throughout the tournament. He doesn't look that same irritable Kohli that you usually see when there are errors or whatnot. So maybe this bodes well for RCB, because he looks happier. He's discovered some form. He hit some really crisp shots. This could really be very exciting tomorrow.
Now, AB de Villiers, he's my favourite player in the world. If I could be any player, just for 5 seconds, I'd want to be AB de Villiers and feel what it's like to bat like him for a while. He's somebody he's just like Peter Pan, isn't he? He never seems to get old. He seems to come every single year and score runs and entertain. I'm looking forward to him. I think he could be a real player tomorrow for RCB. And he's a joy to watch, isn't he?
Absolutely, and also Delhi needs Rabada to bowl to him. This is what the confusion is going to be tomorrow. They might look to bowl Rabada when Kohli is there. They might look to bowl Rabada when Finch is there, but they might struggle whom to bowl when ABD is there. They need strike bowlers tomorrow, and this is going to be an absolute thrilling battle when ABD will be there. Because he'll fancy when Ashwin will bowl, he'll fancy when Mishra will bowl, and also I won't be surprised if ABD comes ahead of Kohli, though Kohli has gained momentum. But if the opening partnership lasts more than 10 overs, I won't be surprised if ABD is promoted. It's going to be a thriller to watch him tomorrow.
One of the things that the IPL 2020 has taught me, gentlemen, is that you can never actually assume anything in this tournament, because every time you start to think, well, that team is going to start to pull away, they lose. And just as we saw with CSK today, every time you start to write a team off, they bounce back. We haven't had a super over for some time, and it could be tomorrow, couldn't it? Because there's not a lot between these two teams.
Yeah, the margins are so tight, aren't they? It certainly could be a super over, and that would be great for all of us fans. I think some of these exciting matches have really raised that profile of the IPL. Everybody's talking about it. Certainly could be very tight tomorrow. Should be a really exciting one. And I'm actually even hoping, apart from just the stars, you expect the ABDs, the Kohlis, the Iyers, the Stoinuses to do very well. But I'm also curious, how some of the other French players do. I think one of the players that I'm very keen on seeing is Harshal Patel. So he's like the little engine that could bowls a ton of slower balls, but also seems to generate one ball that's high 130s or, at the low 140s. And he seems to get wickets, and he's very clever from what he does. So I'm curious how it all goes down.
One team's name. That's all I want from you. Naman, who wins tomorrow?
RCB.
Anand?
DC.
Going to be close, isn't it? I can't really pick between the two of them. I reckon it might be a case of even looking at who wins the toss, who bats first, because even though CSK disproved the fact today, I think it's actually quite a difficult tournament to chase in. It's going to be a joy to watch it. This IPL 2020 just gets better and better. Anand and Naman, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, James.
Thanks, James. It's a pleasure.
And to whoever you're supporting out there, well, I hope you're enjoying the IPL. If you're not, then maybe cricket isn't for you, because it's been very, very exciting so far. We'll be back every single day with the IPL Daily Podcast on the Cricket Badger podcast platform, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for listening. Join us every day throughout IPL 2020. Follow us on Twitter at cricket_badger. Join in the fun. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Regina King for Cadillac Escalade.
Let's say you make it to the top. What's next? Relish in the glory of your accomplishments? Okay, sure, for a minute. But then you move forward. Take the 2021 Escalade. Cadillac's newest arrival is more than just a celebration of iconic luxury. It's the most technologically advanced Escalade ever. Because arriving is just the beginning.
The 2021 Cadillac Escalade. Never stop arriving.